Merry Christmas, friends. It's day 3, December 3rd, on our journey answering the question, why Christmas? Now, I could give you a one-sentence answer to that, or I can give you a long answer. And the point of these Advent thoughts is to take some time between now and December 25th to answer the question, why Christmas? I think it's a valid question for everyone to consider. My answer to you in these thoughts revolves around the actual story that led up to our current celebrations. It's a story in the Bible. Abraham was a key part of the Christmas story. We don't usually talk about Abraham very much at Christmas, but he's key because God said he would bless all people and all nations through him. Now, here's a spoiler. Jesus, who was born on Christmas Day, is a descendant of Abraham. God spent hundreds of years preparing people to know who the Messiah would be and to know they would need a Messiah. Now, you know what a Messiah is, don't you? He's a savior. And back in Genesis, chapters 1, 2, and 3, people created this big problem for themselves. God gave them everything good, including the ability to choose everything bad. And they chose poorly. Remember that? And we call their choice sin. People still sin against God. In Genesis chapters 21 and 22, we read about Abraham's one and only legitimate son, Isaac. Isaac was the result of God's promise that he would bless Abraham with so many descendants they couldn't be counted, like the stars of the sky. But God does something unusual. He asks Abraham to sacrifice his one and only son, Isaac. Now, like that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, this was a test to determine if Abraham was serious about following God's guidance. Abraham agrees, and he's about to do it when God stops him and says, I'm going to provide a sacrifice in Isaac's place. And so he provides a substitute. And that's a picture of what would happen for us. Jesus, God's one and only Son, would be the sacrifice. He would be the substitute for our sin. Our faith in Jesus would deliver us from death and separation from God for our own sin and shame. And that is part of what Christmas is all about. See you tomorrow.